Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. We got another unboxing video today. Alright, so this is the Eliminator 500 watt power inverter. If you've been sticking around the channel lately, we were up at our church doing some testing with this power inverter and uploading at massive LTE speeds. Really sick, right off our cell phones, hot-spotting them to our laptops. We're trying to save money on our main internet router because that Rocket Hub costs us a mint per month to run. Anyway, so this 300 watt inverter that I've had for quite a few years has been very good and very reliable. It's actually made by Xantrex, and it's pretty good, but it only has an output of about 2.1 amps or something like that, or 2.2. What is this thing? 2.1 amps continuous. Well, between both of our laptops, we chew up 3 amps. Each power supply plug-in for our laptops chews 1.5 amps. So plugging in 2 of these gave this thing the critical alarm, the fan went crazy, and of course it goes into overload. And it's like, oh great, this sucks, so we need a solution. So we went to Canadian Tire, and we went to the one aisle by the tires and rims and stuff, and we saw these inverters. 1,000 watt for 160 bucks, and it's kind of like, well, now we got to permanently mount it, because you can't just plug a 1,000 watt power inverter into your cigarette lighter socket in your car, and we didn't want to have to permanently mount anything unless we had no choice. The big thing is not so much the wattage I was concerned about as the amperage that the sockets can deliver along with some wattage. And I know 300 watts is definitely going to be around the 2 to 2.1 area, which I'm at 2.1 with my 300 watt, which I'm probably going to end up selling because now I don't need it anymore. And they still make 300 watt power inverters and smaller. Anyway, so we asked them, we said, well, is there any other power inverters that you have? I mean, I really don't feel like spending 160 bucks for 1,000 watts and permanently wiring it into my car. Well, yeah, you go down to that aisle over there, yeah, okay, so we saw 750 watt for $149, I think it was. Well, 750 to 1,000, let me think about this, and other features too on top of that. That 160 was looking pretty tantalizing. Well, then we saw, of course, 500 watts, and this thing's got some pretty brainiac technology in it too. It's got an intelligent display that tells you the available wattage remaining that you can suck up out of the thing. Different little indicators and whatnot for all that jazz. And I thought, oh, okay. And they tell you about product wattages required. They say that a laptop computer requires 75 watts. Well, that depends on the laptop. Maybe they thought about maybe Pentium 1 laptops use 75 watts. I don't know. Mine's using an 1.5 amps, so that's still a lot more than 75 watts being accessed. You can run a TV, you can run all kinds of crap off this thing. And if you do it right, you can plug in a lot of jazz. So you might need some extension cords. Anyways, or a power bar. So let's open this sucker up and see actually what's in this box. Now, of course, we haven't tested this thing yet, so that's going to be part of this video. So while I'm getting into this thing, my wife's going to set the car up with our laptops, and then we're going to plug this sucker in and see how she does. And we got this set of cables. And we got this cable. And looks like we got a spare fuse. This thing does not have, I don't think it has anyways. If I remember right, I don't think this one had polarity reversal stupidity. What I mean by that is some people are actually stupid enough not to read the instructions, and they put negative to positive and positive to negative and then go, right? So it doesn't have polarity. I don't think it has polarity protection in this, but let's check it out. Connect the correct connector cable to the outlet that you require, of course. Red cable to positive, black to negative. Well, I know that much. And until fully stirred, turn the connectors until securely latches. Blah 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 blah. Decide which DC power source you will connect the outlet to. Well, it's saying for 500 watts you go right off your battery, but out of your car plug it says 100 watts. Well, we're going to test it out of the car plug, and we're going to see what happens. So this thing has a maximum continuous AC output power of 500 watts. It has a surge power output of 1,000 watts. Holy crap. The DC power for the USB port is your standard 5 volt 2.1 amp. No load current is 12 volt at 1.7 amp. Efficiency is 90%. Low voltage alarm, so if you're sucking your battery dry. High voltage shutdown, so if you end up between 15 to 16.3 volts, it'll shut down. What else we got here? Oh, operating temperatures. Just checking things over. Well, I guess that's all we get. So it doesn't say that it has reverse polarity protection, and it doesn't say that it doesn't, at least not in the manual. Let's take a quick scoot over at the box here. Oh, an actual alarm will sound when your battery in your car is low. Auto shutdown protects against overload, short circuit, or temperature in a low and high battery condition. DC cable quick connectors. Well, it doesn't say anything about polarity protection in case you put it in backwards. But that's okay. Yeah, for use in cars, trucks, boats, and RVs. So let's hook up the cable that we want to use and see if our socket in our car can handle the draw of 2 laptops at once. Because I really don't want to have to connect this to the battery and then hook it in. I mean, we want to be able to use this system in the winter as well. But let's see how long these cables are. Not that they're going to be long enough. But I can always hot wire a plug. I've got a cable in my garage with a cigarette lighter and heavy duty cabling. I can actually wire that direct from my battery and fish it into the car's cabin area, and then I'm bypassing my cigarette lighter if I need to. So it looks like these cables aren't that long, so we probably won't be using these anytime soon because they're a little on the short side, at least for what we need. So let's neatly rebundle these. Well, we'll sort of neatly rebundle them. Let's get into this sucker. Now, it doesn't take much to figure out black is black and red is red. I mean, even all this stuff is marked as well. You can't go wrong here. What's this for? A spark may be visible when making connection to a battery. Well, yeah, well, we just connected any better. Alright, so that just fits in the little groove like so. So this has got like an anti-twist, so it can't twist out of place. It's got a little key lock system. You just snug that sucker up. Now you do get only a 1-year warranty with this thing, so within the year if you cook it, they replace it. Alright, USB ports at the front, 2 outlets. So let's get this sucker into the car and plug in our laptops and see if we hit a critical alarm at all. So I'm going to shift all this around for you guys. Okay, I don't know how well we're going to be able to. Hang on. Alright, so let's do that. Alright, so I'm going to have to jump in here as well. Normally I'd be sitting in the back seat, but for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to get into the front. Okay. Oh, look at that. We got a friendly friggin' bug in here. Fly.
That time of year, folks.
You got that right. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so plug her in. Of course, I have to have my ignition on for this to auxiliary at least. And we got a green light here. Kill the stereo. Alright.
Good old YouTube. Whoa!
I unplugged myself.
No, unplug me. Not the tightest fitting sockets.
Nope, we're gonna have to do something about that. Yeah, these sockets suck. Okay.
What does it say?
I got a green light, but it's not. Oh, there you go. You push and hold for a few seconds. Okay, now it says it's charging my laptop. How about yours?
Let me see. Plugged in but not charging. 99 available, so mine doesn't need a charge yet, I guess. What's yours at?
Oh, I don't know where my battery's at 95%.
Okay.
Oh, the fan hasn't come on.
No. No alarms going off.
Nope, no alarms. So I guess they're full of it. You can actually plug into your cigarette lighter.
Yes.
Here, let me see if your power supply is getting power here. Let me just switch it over. Open your cable. Yeah, plugged in and charging. So
I don't know where mine
just
is.
means your battery probably doesn't want to take a charge right now.
Yeah, it's so close to full. It probably.
Come on, get in there, you stupid. Alright, so I'm plugged in. It says I'm charging. So it has no problem that way.
No.
So it's definitely got power coming out of both sockets. That I've just verified. So the plugs kind of suck though.
Yeah.
These,
the socket.
the sockets, they're
Loose.
very loose fit. I don't know. Well, see, they're not polarized plugs. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's the way you plug them in.
No,
No.
still loose.
Okay. go grab a extension cord that has 2 plug-ins that you can use. It's like this kind of thing. And meanwhile, your battery can drain for a few minutes. Okay guys, we are going to be right back. I'm going to get my wife to quickly shut off the camera for a minute while she goes and finds us an extension cord that hopefully will plug in properly to this unit, because these power packs don't seem to want to plug in properly. Alright guys, so we got the extension cord plugged in with both power supplies. This is the same cable we actually use in the house. I guess we're buying another one. Anyway, so plugging it in, no problem. It stays there. And this is a polarized plug at this end.
Wide
so it's got the wide space on one side, narrow on the other. It plugs in there and it's going to stay in there nice and solid. And I'm only going off one port, running 2 machines. I still got a green light, so I still got lots of wattage left over. It says I'm only in the I'm in the 500 watt available range, and at a 100 watt plug into the socket, it says 100 watts. Now, what I'm curious is how many watts do these things actually draw, even though the amperage is kind of up there. It doesn't actually say how many watts. But nonetheless, we have no fan, we have no alarms on, so that's all good. My laptop is still taking a charge. How about you?
97% available, plugged in, not charging.
Well, so yours doesn't need to be charged right now. But it's still plugged in. And
it's plugged in. It's
plugged
still
in.
using
It's pushing power.
Yeah.
So, you know.
It's still using it. It's just not charging my battery. That's all.
I can't even use my laptop. I turned off my mouse pad.
Oh no.
But either way, it works. It works well.
Yeah, the other inverter we were using.
Yeah, it would have hit
immediate error. Like it just it went. Ah!
Actually, you know what? It's right there on the seat. Go grab it and we'll show them what happens. What the heck?
Oh man.
Alright, so I'm gonna unplug this thing. That's golden. That's good. So we're gonna show you what happens when you overdraw from a 300 watt.
This is why we replaced it.
Okay. Okay, so we don't need this. Throw that out. Alright, so don't matter which one's which, but power on. First laptop in. Second laptop. And there goes the fan.
Automatically, it was like, oh.
Didn't get a chance to do much there.
Nope.
Alright.
Mine still isn't charging, so nothing's changed.
No critical alarm yet.
Give it time.
Yours isn't drawing anything either, so that could be why. Oh, there's that fan trying again. Do some surfing or something. Try and make the computer. There we go. Now the fan's kicking in.
As soon as I make the laptop work. And that's just one laptop trying to work.
Yeah, my screen's open, but I can hear it surging a bit. It's fighting.
This is why we replaced it. We need something stronger than this.
So when your fan comes on, it should only come on if you're overdrawing from the system. And if both of our computers were taking a charge at the same time, the alarm would kick in and this thing would go into like thermo shutdown. Like, it just wouldn't like it. I mean, it doesn't like it right now as it is because the fan is on, but yeah, it's trying to kick out and die here. Well, we don't want to blow this up. So let's just try this. That cable. I don't know whose cable is whose now. That's yours. So she's offline there. I'm still on, and yep, it's still charging, so it didn't hurt the inverter. Didn't think I would anyways. But definitely will run one, and the fan won't kick on. But try and plug 2 in, and it won't take long, and it's going to start kicking. There it goes, right quick. So it can't handle it. Too much draw. So that's why we went to 500 watts. Now, if you're thinking about doing the same sort of thing as we're doing, or you just want to run your, even a couple of laptops, you could do that so easily. You got 500 watts of power in this new one, and now it puts out 4 point. I think it was like 4.4 amps continuous. At 500 watts, you can draw up to 4.4 amps continuous, no problem. And you do have a 2.1 amp 5 volt USB port to charge your USB devices. Now what we're going to be doing, of course, with ours is we'll just plug our charger for our phones into our USB port on the laptop, because then it doesn't draw any extra power, but it does actually make the system work as far as it's going to be a consistent drain, because you're trying to charge your phone off of your laptop, so you're sucking down the battery, constantly keeping your charger to peak up your laptop at the same time. So this way, if you're uploading and stuff like we do, or you're hotspotting anywhere, right, then you'll at least have lots of power, and you'll still be able to use this USB port for something else while you're taking the draw from this system, because your 120 volt line is your 4.4 amps, and then you still have the USB at 5 volts at the 2.1. So you'll have plenty of juice to do whatever, basically. So you can run a lot of stuff off this, but watch, if your device says how many watts it chews, that's the big thing. Because if you go, you could be less amperage, you could be like a 2 amp draw, yet you've got a 600 watt device. Well, this thing is not going to work for you. Okay, so you have to use stuff within the limitations of 500 watts. And that 4.4 amps at the same time, coming out of the 120 volt plugs. But I'm a little disappointed in this plug-in for this, because that's not a very secure plug-in. I mean, if you weren't gonna be moving it at all, it might be okay, but it's still too loose fitting, because one little jar, a little bit, and it kind of lets go. But with the other extension cord, it was perfectly fine. So I would put this thing, the main unit I would have to say would have to be a 4.5 out of 5, but then when you take into consideration the plugs, I would probably say this would be somewhere about a 4 out of 5. Nothing's perfect, and the plugs are a little loose fitting. You're gonna have to use an extension cord or a plug-in, whatever it may be, that either plugs in securely, like these power bricks particularly. These are for our Lenovo laptops. These don't securely plug in. And it doesn't matter whether they're polarized or not. The fact is, going in one way or the other, I mean, it's like its own weight is pulling it out. So that's not good, right? So I don't like that part. But this isn't going to affect every device. If you have a device with a grounded plug, it may work just perfectly fine. It's going to be kind of a pig in a poke there, right? But that extension cord's probably about 20 years old, and I plugged it in, and it's tight and secure. So, blade thickness does make a difference too.
One spade is bigger, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and blade thickness is a big issue. I've been finding a lot of the there's been a lot of difference between older plug-in devices and newer ones. All the newer devices seem to be a lot thinner plug-ins than what they used to make them. So basically that's where our quality went down the toilet with a lot of devices nowadays, is plug-ins get too thin, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So engineers need to go back to the design table and put things back to the way they used to work perfect before. But anyways, so there you have it. So that's where I'm at with it. It is a good inverter. I like how it tracks how much wattage you have left available. Definitely you can draw 2 laptops easily, even off one plug-in with the extension cord. And as far as this wattage thing goes, I think that's kind of crap that you're only going to get like up to 100 watts. I don't think it's what you get, but they don't really get that specific into it. It says here, do not operate with an electrical appliance that draws more than 100 watts, as the electrical current may blow the fuse in your inverter. Okay, so that's with this plug. So, but the fuse that they give you goes in here, not in the inverter. I don't know. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to hardwire the system another way, just to be safe, so I can come right off the battery direct anyhow. You know, the big thing is I'll have to remember to shut the power down, or at least unplug this sucker when we're not using it. I don't know, but I don't see that being a problem with the fuse in the inverter, because it had no issue. So it's not over
The fan
time.
didn't even come on.
Fan didn't come on. It doesn't give me an alarm of any kind. So it's kind of like, I don't know. So we'll see. But anyway, that's what we got for you today, guys. So that's my verdict. I think as far as the money value goes, you know, $100, I mean, it's not bad, because I think I paid close to that for my 300 watt inverter a number of years ago. Yeah. And it's still good, strong, reliable. It's a great inverter. Inverters, of course, now for something in the 300 watt range, at least in Canada, for a comparable model to that at Canadian Tire, was somewhere around about, I think it was about $70 or something.
Yeah, I was going to say 79.
About 70, 79. Oh no, it wasn't 79. No? It was about 70. It was about 70. Either way, still a little overpriced for 300 watts. 300 watts does not do a lot for you. It'll do one laptop perfectly fine. And you might get something very small otherwise, but that would be it. But you're not going to get too much, because this is like 1.5 amps already. That leaves you with 0.6 of an amp left over out of 2.1 amps difference. So so basically 600 milliamps of extra draw, and you know, you're maxing it out, and that's not necessarily a good thing to always max out your inverter. You don't want to max it, you want to run it stable. So our both laptops combined, that's only 3 amps out of 4.4, so we're never going to be overheating, we're never going to be overdrawing from the inverter, and that's the big thing there. What I like too is we don't have to permanently mount the sucker in the car. You know, where the 1000 watt, yeah, for $60 more, you get twice as much. You get a big honking inverter. It's got bells and whistles galore, you know, and extra USB ports and all this jazz. But you know what? We don't need all that garbage. We need power source, practicality, compactness. Heck, we drive a compact car, guys. It's like a little Toyota Echo, right? So how much room do we really have in here for a whole whack load of stuff? I mean, I have to sit in the back seat as it is to surf the internet because the steering wheel's in my way, right? So, anyways, that's it. That's all. Thank you so much for checking out our unboxing, test, and review of this pretty neat little inverter. Although it does have a side effect we have to deal with, and we shall. And that's just the plug-in thing, and that's not a big issue anyway. I kind of figured, you know, something may be different, you know. But anyway, see ya. Ciao, ciao. Bye.